What's up, everybody? It's We Talking About Sports. It's Wednesday night. We're back with another episode. It's a condensed episode tonight. We're not doing our traditional breakdown of a division. We're going to save that for next week. We're probably going to end up packing together a couple divisions next week. But we're here with you guys today to break down what's here presented in front of you guys on the screen. For those of you guys who are here live watching with us, it's the top 10 quarterbacks list. And we see Ben, he's repping a guy who might be on the list. If you're asking me, it might be a little too early to put him on the top 10 list, but he's there anyways. Ben, what do you got to say? Are you excited for this episode?
I'm definitely excited for this episode, bro. I thought we were going to say Josh Allen was about to be unanimous. I know we haven't shared each other's lists with each other, so it's going to be interesting here to see what we all got.
Unanimous? Come on, man. You know, as fellow Cowboy fans, we cannot have a Bills as our number one. Ain't that right, Roland?
Yeah, there's no such thing as unanimous unless you're talking about Steph Curry MVP.
Oh, my God. Hey, where'd you find this guy, Ron? This is the guy you had following you up, brother.
You set me up. You set me up for that one. But no, we are back here to talk about some quarterbacks. It's our top 10 list. This is probably the third year that we've been doing it. Ron said he found something going back to 2020, so this would be our third year of making a list. We're going to revisit that list, see if there's some similar names or see how things have changed since 2020. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about a quarterback. It's not a quarterback that's going to be on this list by any means, but I just want to ask you guys, there's a report out of Patriots practice yesterday that Mac Jones went 7 of 17 in some team practice. I think it's 7 of 17, and his 2-minute drill ended with an INT. Do you guys buy into this type of preseason news, like camp news, or is it just all like smoke and mirrors?
This story, actually, I'm kind of buying into it. I'm drinking the juice on this. I mean, we've heard of us as a podcast. We have the under on the Patriots, so all we've heard is how they got worse, how they're regressing. And maybe they're having some shitty practices and, some guys' tempers are flaring about how they're going to get it done with the product that they have on the field. So I'm buying into this. Mac Jones, sucking it up at practice. Very, very believable stat line coming from Mac Jones as well. So, yeah, man, digression for the Patriots, and it sounds like it's starting early.
What about you, Ron?
I completely agree, man. He was a one-hit wonder last year. I mean, the kid was a stud. Don't get me wrong. Let's give him his flowers. He got put into a system with one of the greatest coaches alive. Defenses didn't know, what to do. They hadn't game plan for him. But second season coming around, he's no Joey B. I don't think he's one of these top guys. Again, give him his flowers. He did well. He was a great college quarterback, but I agree with Ben. The regression is there. I'm not high on the Patriots. We took their under. If you guys follow our shows, we're under on the futures. I believe it was at 8.5. So if you're having trouble at practice, bro, I mean, practice. That was our intro. Practice. We'll talk about practice.
And it is practice. I, for one, usually don't buy into this type of stuff, but this has been something that's kind of been consistent for the Patriots, at least this offseason. You heard some stuff about how bad they looked before their first preseason game that led a lot of people to take the other side in their first preseason, how bad they looked in practice under Matt Patricia as their offensive coordinator. And, another reason why I like that under so much and why we like it collectively. But I am buying this as something to maybe be worried for. If you're a Patriots fan, the panic meter's not all the way up, but you got to be paying attention to this story. Anything else you guys heard around the league that you guys want to talk about before we get into top 10 quarterbacks?
The one thing with me of, fantasy football season's coming around and just, the boost that some of these guys have been getting in draft stock after this second preseason game where we did see some starters play a decent amount. Is pretty crazy, bro. Guys shooting up, 4 rounds off of preseason games and stuff. So, yeah, that's what I'm keeping my eye on the most.
Lions head coach, Hard Knocks. I mean, it's been all over the place, man. This might be the year. This might be the year that the Detroit Lions do it. Their preseason, was all right. I mean, they didn't have, a great preseason, but the whole mentality, the whole team change that, Dan Campbell was implementing there, I'm excited to see it because everybody likes to root for an underdog, and that's kind of what's happening, for the whole city of Philadelphia. The Phillies are doing well. Ben, your boy, Harden, he going back to basketball, he did all right, but hey, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Philly. We're talking about Detroit.
Yeah,
I'm tripping, dog.
Hey, they're both.
Hey, stop me, bro. Stop me, please.
They're both those lunch pail cities, though, as far as the teams and the underdog stories. The Philly teams and Detroit teams are hard-nosed teams. So, yeah, easy to root for them, unless you're a Cowboys fan.
Touche. There you go. Yes, but that is a story rolling out of the preseason that I'm excited about. Dan Campbell and the Lions. Let's get to the playoffs.
And that is a team that we're on as far as the over is concerned too.
Facts.
So
7.5.
That is something that we're going to be paying attention to throughout the season. Definitely. I do want to say having a little bit of technical difficulties as far as sharing our slides that we have out for you guys. So we're probably going to have to do this just kind of like freestyling as far as
I could pull them up.
Ron, if you want to pull them up, maybe share your screen. I'm having a little bit of trouble sharing mine right now, but I can go off of what I have in front of me. I have Justin's list. We're all going to go through our lists collectively and then probably break it down at the end. But since Justin's not here with us today, I'm going to go ahead and just break down his list and you guys just give your thoughts. I mean, first, I'm going to start at number 10. Matthew Stafford, he's paying respect to the Super Bowl champion. And he's got Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott at 7, Tom Brady at 6, Joe Burrow at 5, Justin Herbert at 4, Aaron Rodgers at 3, Patrick Mahomes at 2, and Josh Allen at the 1 spot to make Ben happy there. It's a pretty good list. Nothing really stands out as far as him trying to make a case for anybody. Joe Burrow, this will probably be the highest that we've seen him in any of our lists. I don't know if he was a top 10 quarterback for us last year. I don't think he was. Definitely not in 2020. He was still in college, I think. So Joe Burrow making his entrance into the top 5. Are you guys? I know Ron is. But Ben, I know as a team, we're a little bit more – there we go, Ron. We're a little bit more reserved on the Bengals. But are you in on Joe Burrow? Is he one of the next guys to have that torch as a Mount Rushmore quarterbacks, I guess, is concerned in the current day that he's playing in?
I think that he fits all of the boxes that you got to check off for like that star quarterback, the confidence, the coolness. People like him a lot, and then on the field it translates. I mean, he went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, he got injured his rookie season, but sophomore season you get to the Super Bowl as big underdogs. It seems like the writing's kind of on the wall, bro. Honestly, for Joe Burrow, he's going to be one of these guys that for the next 10 years. He's going to be one of those guys in the mix, especially in the AFC with Josh Allen, with Patrick Mahomes. And, there's another guy that I'm not ready to say this about yet that a lot of people would have in that mix as well. But Joe Burrow, yeah, for sure.
Ron, is Joe Burrow that type of guy that'll make you maybe consider taking off that Cowboys hat and putting on a Bengals cap?
Hell yeah, man! I'm definitely on the Burrow bandwagon here, man. You saw what he did last year as a second year. You saw the weapons that he had. His running back isn't a bad guy. And what I love about this team, bro, is that they're young. They're young and they're hungry, man. You don't have vets who are going to leave in 2 years. You didn't bring vets in. You're not the Rams. You're not Marquis Garza spending all this money to get to the Super Bowl. You're drafting, man, and you're getting great guys and they're getting great production. Even secondhand guys, wide receiver 2, T. Higgins. I mean, if you have the weapons and you make it easy as receivers for your quarterback and create separation from the DBs like these guys do, and then you bring in a national championship guy, Heisman Trophy winner, I mean, it's all there to me. The ceiling is still high for the Bengals. And I'm a Cowboy till I die, but if Dak Prescott limps off again, you know, and he screws it up and does Dallas Cowboy things. Might have to turn this cap, put a little C right there, but that C is going to be for Cincinnati, not the Cowboys.
Yeah, so just to Justin's number 4 to his 5, like, I don't know how people are ready to say that about Herbert. Like, how are we ready to put Justin Herbert that high without making the fucking playoffs, bro? Like,
he put him over a quarterback who just went to the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying.
And the greatest quarterback
Tom
of all
Brady,
time.
Dog, like,
well, Justin Herbert did throw for 5,000 yards last year. That's probably where a lot of this comes from.
They didn't punt all year, Roland.
He has the stats to back it up. He's thrown for over 4,000 last year. He threw, the year before, 5,000 this past year. The numbers are there. They just got to win games, to your point. I agree. I'm there with you. But Justin Herbert has a lot of hype behind his name, even more than Joe Burrow, like you said, to your point.
That's why the hype, it's night or day, and one guy is out there like proving it, and one guy has just been potential. They've been waiting. And that's Ron's guy too. So I'm interested to see where he has Herbert on his list.
And I'd want to ask you guys something because I have Joe Burrow's stats up here. He threw for 4,600 yards last year, 70% completion percentage, 34 touchdowns. I have a prop here. DraftKings has his season total passing yards at 4,450 and a half, 4,450.5. Are you guys willing to take the over on that? You think he gets to 4,500 yards?
Oh, yeah.
Joe Burrow?
They do.
4,500?
I think that Burrow does, yeah. I mean, with that offense, they have Mixon, they have all the weapons. They just need to, to now build up the defense and give them, Eli Apple can't do it all, baby. You feel me? Like, they need to get Eli Apple some help on that side of the ball. But I do like Joe Burrow to go over that, Roland. I do.
And I'm with you. I'm not as high on the Bengals again as a team in terms of their wins and losses, but I do think they're going to pass it a little bit more this year. Now that Joe Burrow, again, keeps on continuing to prove himself, they'll trust him a little bit more to pass it. So, yeah, he can only go up. I mean, he hit 4,600 last year, and, I mean, there's a lot of room for them to throw more. So,
and I don't think it's that. And then I think a lot has to do with the way that the Bengals throw the ball. They're not dinking and dunking to their QBs. I mean, these guys are going Hail Mary, kind of shots, 50, 60 yards. So he's a quarterback who can have 200 yards going into the second half, 220, some crazy ass numbers. He's a guy who can put up 500 yards in one game alone, if not more. So I definitely like the over there.
So Ron, do me a favor real quick, because I do want to see our list from 2020, just so we can look back.
My B.
So we can look back and see how different this list looks, just to give us some reference.
Pal. Dang. Hey, going to the WTBS, we talking about Sports Archive 2020. That's crazy. I wasn't even here. I wasn't even born yet.
This was pre-Ron. Looking at this. Justin's top 10, he had Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Brady, Breeze, Lamar, Watson, Dak, Jameis Winston, and Jimmy G. Some of those names not on the list. A lot of our names
not in the league.
Not in the league. Not on the list either.
2020, that's just 2 years ago. Okay.
There are some guys who have stayed around, and I think are on this list. But look, for example, we had Carson Wentz in the top 10 going into 2020, albeit that was off of his almost MVP season. I want to say people still had a lot of belief in Carson Wentz.
Disgusting.
Shit, we had
you were high on Wentz.
No, I remember that year. I remember in 2020, I was dying on that Kyler Murray hill, bro. That's the year that I was like Kyler Murray, and I think it was Drake, the running back.
Kenyon Drake was your boy.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Hey, Rick Cantu calling out Justin. Jimmy G.
No. Yeah, Justin put Jameis in there because he led the league in passing yards or touchdowns. I'm not sure which one, but it was the same year he led the league in interceptions. He said just because he was a passing leader, he deserved to be in his top 10. I remember that like it was yesterday. And then I think this was the last year for Breeze, right? And kind of, I remember saying the top 5 thing for him, it was that year where his arm was like a noodle and all that. This was the end of Breeze as well.
It did fall off, or his arm did fall off. He fell off collectively that year. Still, I think they still found a way to make the playoffs as they always did
and he
with
fucked it
Drew
up.
Brees, but
and
definitely was a fall off.
And Justin fell off too. Hey, Ricardo, you need to tell Justin to get on the show, bro. We need him on the show.
Justin fell off.
If he doesn't want to get smoked, he needs to come on the show. Look at this, putting Jameis Winston on the list.
Heard them say that I fell off. Oh, I needed that. How does that shit go? It's gonna be Justin.
Outside of that, though, these lists are pretty decent. I mean, Wentz, that's pretty bad having him at 10 and
damn, Ben.
I mean, I had Wentz at 10. I think we were also pretty high on him at that time. That's also before he fell off. He kind of fell off that year going into the 2020 season.
Ben was high.
I will say
Ben was high on Lamar. Look at that, number 2
and that is the one thing that's remained the same. I think this was Lamar coming off of his MVP season as well. So he did carry the Ravens that year and then got hurt last year. But if you would look at my list for this year, I think Lamar – I've been a Lamar truther while he's been in the league. Jameis should still be on the list today.
Putting Ola on his back, baby.
Shout out to everybody watching, everybody in the comments.
Alan. Hey, Alan is the type of guy. I'm sorry, Alan is the type of guy who would go get Taysom Hill because he's a tight end. That's the kind of fantasy guy he is. He's a smart man.
Hey, but I do think Jameis was coming off his 5,000 yard 30 for 30.
Yeah, that was a year.
Man. That's a one of a kind year right there. So
it's a pretty disgusting list, though, bro. I remember one year we put it on Twitter and there was some people going at the list for sure. And if it was this year's list, they had every right to be.
No. The one that I always remember is people hating for having Brady on the list, and then he just goes on to win the Super Bowl.
That year, yeah.
I like how when
get a grip.
Ricardo put like Alan, he put like the acento, so it could be like Alan.
That's why you said Alan.
I know.
All right. So
where are we going? Talk to me.
I just wanted to show it just to contrast, the list that I read out from Justin, just to show some different names. Josh Allen, obviously, being his number 1, wasn't even on this list at the time.
Good point.
And a couple of other names not in the league, not on the list. But let's go back to the next list that we had lined up.
Who we going, Benny, or we go you?
I'll go through my list real quick. All right. So my list, I don't have Josh Allen.
Eddie?
I still think the number 1 quarterback in the league is Patrick Mahomes. When you're just talking about pure talent as a quarterback who's still got it, he's still in the prime of his career, much like Josh Allen entering the prime. It's like splitting hairs at this point, but just being a pure quarterback, I'll take Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen still has a little bit more to prove to me, like we talked about in the AFC East episode. He's 0-6, or last season they were 0-6. It's not a quarterback stat, wins and losses, but he was 0-6 in close games. So let's just see Josh Allen take the torch from Patrick Mahomes, and then I'll move him up. I got Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's a reigning MVP at 3. Tom Brady led the league in passing yards last year. Still gonna have him up there. Russell Wilson at 5. Justin Herbert, I have him at 6. He's in my top 10. He's above Joe Burrow also. I have him at 6 and 7. Justin had him a little bit higher, but I think the young guard at 6 and 7 could move up this list. It'll be a little bit different next year, maybe.
So, Roland, what's the like thought process there putting Herbert over Burrow?
Again, I think it's much like the Mahomes over Allen situation in my mind. I just think Justin Herbert's a bit more talented. Like when you're just talking about being a pure quarterback, more things that he can do. He's a better runner than Joe Burrow. I think he might be a better passer at this stage in his career, but it's
the clutch
again
gene,
like these guys.
The clutch gene, Roland.
True, the clutch gene, and that's a lot to be said. That's why guys like Tom Brady are still up in this list at 4. And I do want to pay some respect to Matthew Stafford. Had him a little bit higher on my list over guys like Lamar and Dak. He won the Super Bowl. I have him below Joe Burrow, but that's just because I think Joe Burrow's going to take another step up. And Matthew Stafford, I got to give him some respect. But Got to shout out my guy Dak at number 10. Not going to leave him off this list.
Were you just throwing Dak a bone there, Roland, or did he earn that spot, bro?
I think he earned that spot. You know, there's a couple of names down in that range that you can go either way with, depending who you like. But, you know, I've seen Dak put up numbers. I've seen him get victories, and I've also seen him take too long to get down and slide and, you know, run out the clock and, you know, cost a big game. But anyways, I still have Dak there because he's shown that he can do it. I don't know if he's still up in this echelon because, you know, when we're talking top 10, like this might be a top 10 list, but there's tiers here. Like, and there's a little bit of levels. There's a little bit of a difference between 10 and 3, 10 and 4. You know, like almost not in the same breath, but top 10. I'll give Dak number 10 for sure. But that's my list. Anything you guys want to call out? Anything you guys don't like? Anybody you wouldn't have on your top 10?
No, I think all these guys are in my. I think we have the exact same list, just different order. I have Burrow way up though. Everything else looks pretty solid. So yeah, I think that's kind of the only thing that like stuck out was just Burrow being at 7.
My only beef here is the Herbert over Burrow, but I mean it's minor. Like I wouldn't even mind him just one spot below Burrow, just because I think Herbert, everything that Joe Burrow did last year, I think those were the expectations for Herbert and the Chargers. Like they were supposed to kind of challenge with the Chiefs. You know, they were supposed to take that step up, and they shot themselves rowdy. So I wouldn't give him that nod over Burrow. That's my only beef with this list.
Yeah, and they have the expectations again this year. So
even bigger.
Let's see how this conversation changes as we come back to it next year.
We got shout out to the guys in the chat, man. They're going off. Would you put Joe and Dak in the same tier? Roland, this is kind of for you because you have them at 7 and at 10.
Talking about tiers.
10, so see, 7 through 10, I think is a little bit closer. I would have them in the same tier. I do think Joe Burrow is already a more talented passer than Dak. But Dak, if he adds in his running this year, like he was doing before his ankle burst a few years ago, you know, he takes his game to another level, and he becomes a more multidimensional player. So I do think they're in the same tier, but I do have Joe Burrow above him, and I'll stick by Burrow over Dak.
Cowboys fans would be feeling themselves if they had Joe Burrow over Dak, bro. But I mean, and look, to be fair to Dak, what was he, a 4th round pick, and Joe Burrow was a pick in the draft. So I'm not gonna shit all over Dak like I like to, but I mean, we're talking about are they in the same tier, and look at the value that the Cowboys got in Dak. He might never be the guy, but hey, he's at least a starting quarterback in the NFL value.
Yeah, no, for sure.
For me, bro, it's just, I mean, you hear me say it's ceiling, and dude, Dak has already had squads, bro. I mean, look at the squad that they had last year, and it was always just this little thing, this little mistake, missing, overshooting a wide receiver, missing the read, throwing a pick early, just those little things. And I know it's hard to compare their careers because Dak has played in the league a lot longer, but Burrow is just so like calm. Like to me, it's like if you're going into the 4th quarter, last drive, maybe who do you want to have the ball?
That's a no-doubter, bro.
I mean, I'm wearing the star on my fucking hat, but man, I wish Burrow could be leading my offense instead of Dak, just because even though he's a younger player, I think that his mind is just a little bit more evolved, man, and the kid can win. And dude, Dak hasn't given us any damn wins, so.
As Cowboys fans, has Dak hit his ceiling? We saw him like at an all-time high, right prior to the injury.
Yeah.
The offense has taken a step back as far as weapons. Zeke's gotten older. O-line
is way different. The O-line is way different.
Has he hit his ceiling, or is there still room for Dak to get better?
I think individually he still has room to get better. Yes, he can throw the ball better, read better. He's still a young guy. But winning wise, to me, I think that there's a very small window in the NFL, unless you're a freak like Brady and Mahomes, who's just going to be there every year. The window is very small to win, and he hasn't won. He hasn't taken us to the playoffs with the teams that he's had, and there's regression this year. Just like you said, Zeke's getting older. Our wide receivers, I mean, can you name me anybody else other than CD Lamb?
Tolbert.
You know,
boy Turpin.
I mean,
Turpin,
exactly. I mean, exactly. Look at the names that you're dropping. So the window to win is, I don't think, is there for him. Can he potentially get better? Can he, read the defenses better? Learn how to be a more mindful quarterback, I guess, if that makes any sense. Be a smarter guy, yes. But as far as winning, man, it's, as a Dallas fan, I'm really concerned for this year. That's all that I'm gonna say. And if you have somebody like Burrow, young cat smoking the cigars, put him in, coach.
Roland, has Dak hit his ceiling in your opinion?
Before I answer that, I want to say, Ron, we got a guy in the chat that already agrees with you, Richie. He agrees that Dak has hit his ceiling. And I will say I agree with Richie, but I'll preface it with saying that we've seen his ceiling. He hit it before his ankle got hurt. The way that he was playing those first 5 games, and I go back to it, and it's like it's a distant memory. But and they were losing those games, but the way that he was playing, he was hitting everybody. He was involving the run game with his legs, what eventually led to him getting hurt. But if he can get back to what he was doing before that injury, I think he's a fine quarterback. But as far as passing, I think he can take another step, because I think he's still shown a little more to be, I guess, desired.
Maybe some more accuracy downfield.
Yeah, a little bit more accuracy. And just knowing the game too, like you saw what happened there at the end of the game. I made a joke about the slide there at the end of the game, but he really didn't even know what to do. After that happened, they pointed out that he grabbed the ball, and you never do that. You're supposed to let the ref grab it, and that wasted even more time.
He just like panics, bro. He just like kind of, you see that little panic in him where it's like, oh god. And then you have stupid Mike McCarthy, like that game that they lost because they ran out the clock and couldn't spike it. I mean, that's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. As like the quarterback and the leader, you can't have that happen.
And I agree. And, he seems like the type of guy that's like determined to kind of make those changes. So we'll see.
Shit, I'll even go a little bit further, and then we can get off Dak and get to either Ron or I's list. But
now run it. Say your take on Dak, and then I'll put you.
With the media even going on and blaming the ref for being a little too slow, would see those other quarterbacks. I just don't see Burrow or, the Josh Allen types, the Mahomes. I don't see them going at the ref like that in those situations. Because I think that those type of players, I should have known better. That should have hit them and be like, yo, like, I can't be serious. I can't be doing that shit. Agreed. So I think he lacks that as well. And that's where Ron goes to the maturity. And somebody said, I think it was Allen, that Burrow has that first round, that number 1 pick maturity to him. And you could see it. And although Dak has gotten there, he still lacks some of those little things that the big dogs have.
Yeah, it's like you were a 4th round for a reason. I think maybe your ceiling is being a type of player like a Joe Burrow coming out of the draft, like having that number 1, to where Burrow started there, and then you can, go up. Yeah. So Ben, let's you want to hit your list or what?
Yeah, because I see that 1 and 2 needs to switch on Rollins.
Yeah,
on Rollins list, so let's switch it up on him, guys.
Damn! What does that say on your forehead? Please tell everybody that's not watching, because everybody that can watch and can clearly see what it says.
Puro pinche party.
Ah, well,
that was a New Year's pick. Good job on the pictures, Ron. Always keeping us guessing, for sure. But no, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to say a changing of the guard this year, going with the number 1, power-rated preseason team. Number 1, odds-on favorite for MVP, Josh Allen. I'm going him at number 1. They'll get through Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs without having to worry about Tyreek Hill this year. So I still think that they're the best 2 quarterbacks in the game. Then I'm going to pay my respects to, the OGs, the guys that have constantly kept whatever team they're playing for, in the mix and chasing titles. Brady and Rodgers, still putting them above Joe Burrow. But I'm going to put Joe Burrow at 5. And I've been a big Lamar fan, but, the handicap that he has throwing the ball, it's a lot bigger than Joe Burrow not being able to run the ball. So I'm going to put Joe Burrow above Lamar Jackson, but then I'm going to go Lamar. Love Lamar Jackson this year in fantasy football. If I don't get Josh Allen, in that third round, Lamar Jackson's definitely a guy that I'm looking for in the mid round. So I'll tip my hat to Matthew Stafford. He won a Super Bowl. He was that hidden gem from the Detroit Lions that just needed a spot to shine bright in LA, and he got them that title. So I'm going to tip my hat to him, throw him on there. Then I'm going to go Russell Wilson. Me and Russell Wilson, the beef that we have. I'm going to put him on my top 10 list. It's awesome that, this year I don't have to hear shit for him not being top 5, but I'm going to give him the nod against, a guy in his division, Justin Herbert. I do think that he's top 10, but you got to prove something to me. I'm not going to put you above any of these other guys, and all of these guys, have a playoff win on their name. And then I'm going to round off my list with Derek Carr. I know Mark had asked if you all had to switch 10 with your 11, who would it be? I'd have probably thrown Dak at 10 if it wasn't for Derek Carr. Really high on Derek Carr this year. So that rounds off my list.
Yeah, Ben, I like it. You pick a different hill each year.
Yeah. That last guy.
I like it. I do want to go back. We've talked about Derek Carr at length. It's been a little while since we talked about Matthew Stafford, and that it's caused some concern for Richie. Are you paying your respect to him at 7? Do you still see him being a top 10 quarterback at the end of this next year? Or are you worried about his elbow too?
Honestly, I'm not that worried about his elbow, but I think that we're going to find out real quick how bad the elbow is. I don't think that it'll take long. They got the Bills week 1. He's going to have to make some plays, and we're going to find out a lot. So for now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But if I see that his elbow is obviously messing with him, then yeah. But he's supposed to be a go week 1. So this is as if, he's good to go.
They did say they would be monitoring his elbow weekly. It's something that's going to be at least of concern to the Rams to want to monitor it that closely. So it's kind of scaring me a little bit because I do like some Rams players. Not going to say too much because we got a draft coming up.
Hey, bro, nobody loves Allen Robinson, Roland. You could say his ugly ass name. Nobody likes Allen Robinson, bro. Nobody.
We'll see. I don't know, but
my only pick here is just your where was he? Yeah, Stafford. I mean, putting him above Russ and Herbie all the way at 9. I mean, I know you're not a huge fan, but shit, man, that's just straight up disrespect. Put some respect on Herbie's name and that Chargers offense. But so that's the only thing is just Stafford being above, especially a guy like Russell who's going into to me a solid offense. I think that he's a winner, and I mean, Derek Carr, I don't hate that. All right. I don't hate that. Me and you, I think I don't know if it was a consensus, but everybody was kind of high on the Raiders and you were extra high on Derek Carr. But I see that the potential is there for him. So him and like Marky said, who's your 11, 10 through 12, that's where you're kind of shuffling like your Derek Carrs, your Dak Prescotts. I mean, dare I say it, even a Kirk Cousins, Jalen Hurts-ish, kind of. So, I mean, 10 spot is, anybody could go at 10.
Derek Carr and Dak Prescott can be mentioned in the same sentence. I think that I have some people agreeing in the comment section. Richie's out there saying Carr going to ball out this year. So, I mean, this is a hill that I'm happy to die on. I'm happy to die on this season. They gave him all the weapons. It's put up or shut up. And I'll either put up or shut up with him. Hey, Bills Mafia in the house too. We got Isidro in here throwing out Bills Mafia.
My God! Another bandwagon Bills Mafia. Ben left from the Texans to the Bills, and we have a Seattle Seahawk. Going from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast.
I don't know. We've been talking about the 10 spot, and guys who can get into the top 10, but I want to point attention to the 4 and the 5 spot. We talk about the term gatekeeper in UFC, right? The gatekeeper, the guy who's preventing the up and coming prospect from getting into the upper echelon of the division, the top fights and all that, getting into the top 5 or the top 4 in this case. Do you see it changing here? Do you see Tom Brady finally taking a step down, a guy like Aaron Rodgers taking a step down in your list, Ben, and maybe Joe Burrow, Lamar, and maybe a guy like Herbert and Carr, making a move up.
I mean, all the love that y'all are giving Herbert, shit, if Tom Brady had retired, he would have been, a top 4 quarterback if Tom Brady had stayed retired. So somebody who I'm expecting to see, that way, I don't have to be mean to my friends. Hopefully Herbert puts himself in, solidifies himself as a top 5 QB. But I think him and Burrow are going to be the guys that would, Matthew Stafford, we're tipping our hat to him, putting him in the top 10. I don't think he's a guy that could get back into the top 5. Same for Russell Wilson. So Herbert and Burrow, and then, possibly Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's that wild card.
Ron, do you see the gatekeeper holding on, or is he gonna fall off?
I'm sorry, man. I'm distracted by this fellow who calls himself Mondo, Russell Wilson, baby. Let's go. I mean, I don't know. No, shout out to Dukes and everybody else in the chat. The chat's going off tonight. I appreciate it, man. You guys are interacting, and I love it. I love the interaction. But as far as
shut up, Mom.
Yeah, but the gatekeeper, I agree with that. I don't know. I think we need to get to my list already because it's 7, and we have a draft. We have a draft coming up.
Ron's already panicking.
Hey, y'all,
a little bit more homework.
All the shots y'all want to get in, go ahead. This is probably the craziest of the list.
Damn, watch your mouth. All right. So I don't know how we didn't have this dude, reigning MVP, Cowboy killer, discount double check, Mr. John Wick himself, Aaron Rodgers as number 1. This guy's a winner. Whether it's Devontae Adams, whether it's Adam Lazard, this guy makes it happen. We always talk about receivers being great because of their quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers made a lot of those receivers, man. He's got to be number 1, reigning MVP. The dude knows how to win. He can pass for 100 yards. He can pass for 400 yards. It don't matter. But just like Brady, you can count on him to get the W's. And as a top 10 quarterback, I think he's number 1 because he gets the W's, man. Number 2, Josh Allen. Surprise, surprise. He's at the top of everybody's list. The potential's high. The ceiling's there. We've already covered him. Joe Burrow, extremely high. Took this Cincinnati Bengals team in his second year. Beat the Chiefs. They're not talking about that playoff run and the teams that he beat on the road. I mean, this guy went in there, almost won the Super Bowl. All right, so give me Joe B. The ceiling is high. Patrick Mahomes, this is a guy who you guys had either 1 or 2, for sure, top 3. I see regression here. I see regression because not as a player, but as a team, I don't know if they're going to be that great this year. I have to keep him in the top 5, of course, obviously, but I see a little bit regression just because he's been such a freak alien since he took over that starting job. Give me Russell Wilson at number 5. Russ has always been a winner. I was cooking with him for a little bit, and then I was like, hey, it's all hype. The team sucks. And that's exactly what happened. He was just on a bad team. But this guy's a winner, and he's a smart quarterback, and he's going to get you the victories. I'm high on the Broncos this year. Mondo, I will give you props. They have a solid squad. They're coached really well. So Russell Wilson rounding out my top 5. Regression. It's a trend here. Number 6, Tom Brady. Mr. I don't want to show up to training camp. Mr. I'm losing players on my squad, so I don't want to show up. I have old-ass Leonard Fournette in my backfield. Tom Brady.
Channeling a divorce.
Yeah, I mean, all this stuff is going on. So give me Brady at 6. I don't hate on the GOAT. He's still a guy that I want to have the rock on the last drive of the game. I can't hate on him. Give me Herbie at number 7. You guys talked about him enough. Lamar, Ben's in love with Lamar. I give him props. He signed his contract yet? Not yet. So he's going to have something to prove, or he's going to be pissed off, show out, and another team is going to pick him up. Give me the home guy, number 9. I can't have Dak Prescott not on my top 10. I said that he wasn't going to have a great squad, which means I think that he has the potential to put the team on his back and maybe get us some wins. I don't love it, but as a Cowboy guy, he's got to be on my list. And Mr. Quarterback winner himself, Matthew Stafford, rounding out my number 10. I put him on here just because I think the system fits him well. He's a good quarterback. We haven't said this word, gunslinger, with Matthew Stafford yet, but he does like to air out the rock. He's got the best wide receiver. They just came off of winning the championship, so you have to have him on this list, and that's my 2022 quarterback top 10.
I'm not mad at Joe Burrow being that high, Ron. I'm not mad at
Thank you, baby. Let's go.
Not mad at it. You're buying the stock. You're saying that it's gonna happen. He's gonna take over, take that next step. There's a lot of questions on your list. I do want to say,
Can we touch on Tom Brady?
Yeah, I wanted to. We can touch on Tom Brady at 6. Where do you want to go with it, Ben?
Is it the Drew Brees situation that we talked about on our 2020 list?
Wow. Or it's not because at least in Drew Brees' case, and to your point back then, you were already able to see some of the fall off the year before. You were able to see his arm kind of deteriorating a little bit. You already knew he wasn't able to hit some of those deeper throws, and it just took the next step the year after that. With Tom Brady, he still throws a beautiful deep ball. He still, can make every throw in the book. I think this year it comes down to his supporting cast. There's a lot of question marks around him, a lot of injuries to the offensive line throughout the training camp situation. I don't know if they've lost anybody in the preseason games, but I know they've lost guys in practice, at least 3. Godwin's still not back. They signed Julio Jones. A lot of question marks. So I don't think it'll be Tom Brady's doing.
Due to the supporting cast, because I see Gabe, shout out Gabe in the comment section, but he also said it's going to be hard to watch Brady this year. And there has been people who said, like, with all the injuries that this team is getting, Bruce Arians is no longer the head coach. It's now Todd Bowles. Like, should Tom Brady just call it a career? What's going to be the product on the field? There's been a lot of love for the Saints to win that division because of what's going on in Tampa Bay. So that was kind of my question. Like, is Tom Brady going to go out like that, or are we still going to get the Tom Brady that, wills his team to the playoffs, wins the division?
Yeah, I mean, Roland put it up there. Godwin, Gage, and Julio, all potential stars. I mean, yes, they are. I mean, the names are there. Somebody else put on here. He talking about his receivers. His receivers are there. I mean, we're not saying that the talent isn't there. It's just, I mean, dude's what, 47? Possibly 46, 47?
He's like 44,
how old is he?
Bro. He's
44? Brady is seeking that farewell tour.
You see, it could be that type of season. It could just be go play your away game. Everybody pays your respects. And maybe he doesn't have the best year. I mean, RIP, but maybe he has that Kobe farewell kind of tour where the Lakers, really didn't win many games, but people showed up to see Kobe. And sometimes he put up 40, sometimes he put up 50 still. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, I think that's why I put him where I did on my list, because it's crazy to say, but like his ceiling is still there. He's fucking Brady, and he does have these receivers. He has to be top 10. I just don't know if you're putting them in front of guys like Rodgers, Allen, Patty, who in years past, yeah, I mean, in years past, 2, 3, 4 years ago, yeah, I mean, Brady's 1, 2, top 3 for sure, but the regression is there. He still has to be on the list, just not as high. So I think anything 6 to 7, in my opinion, is perfect spot for him.
But
I think, let's just wrap this up real quick, and I'm gonna put everybody's on there so we can kind of compare, and we can do a consensus.
Who had the best list? Who had the best list? Comment section. Don't be haters either. All right.
Easy's still here. Ricardo Cantu.
I know I talk a lot of smack to y'all, but who had the best list?
Yeah, facts, man. And we won't hate on you guys if you're being a little biased here. If you got a little bit more love for me than you do for Ben, or vice versa, just facts right here. All right. What is easy, Ron? Yeah. Okay, that's one. That's one for me. 1-0.
What are we saying? What's going on?
We're getting some interaction from the comment section on whose list they would probably agree with more. Whose list are you willing to vouch for?
2-0, baby.
Got a lot of love for the early Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers, number 1. Ron was the only guy who had Aaron Rodgers, number 1.
Well, no, see, before we started talking about Brady, I was going to say, you didn't apply.
Ooh, your own brother, Roland.
Damn. At least I got second place there. But
hey, Gabe told me my list was wild. So
I was gonna say, Ron, you applied. His supporting cast is leaving him logic to Patrick Mahomes, but you ignored it for Aaron Rodgers.
No, yeah, but no.
Yeah.
But no. I acknowledge it. I said there's wide receivers who the quarterbacks make them great and wide receivers who have talent. I'm not saying that Davante Adams doesn't have talent, but every wide receiver that went through Green Bay, Rodgers made him a winner. Rodgers got him paid, you know?
Yes, I didn't go over. Thank you, Richie. I think he's just doing that because he fucked me out of that trade yesterday. But hey, I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it.
No, I mean, your list isn't crazy, Ben. I like your list.
No Dak in my list, bro. I'm a Cowboys fan, like my list. A little bit of brown nosing. Hey, I'll take it, Rich.
I will say if Derek Carr is the reason why the Raiders don't reach their potential, we're gonna have to visit this list.
Yeah. Can we just get what does everybody think about the only guy who Ben being the only guy who has Derek Carr up here? I mean, is there love? Speaking of Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers, are you guys believers in the Raiders this year and more, specifically Derek Carr? I'm on Carr too. That's why. There you go, Ben. That's what it was. I figured it out for you. What you said.
Would you guys take Derek Carr to lead the league in passing yards this year?
I think it's with who's their running back? They just cut Kenyon Drake.
Josh
Jacobs is getting 20 carries in preseason though, and he's not a guy who holds up the whole season. They're gonna have to air out the ball. I don't think that it's a bad look. I think you could see Derek Carr with a possible 5,000-yard season just because of attempts.
Derek Carr over under 44.50.5.
I like the
over. And what was the other quarterback we just talked about throwing almost the same? Burrow? Was it Burrows almost the same?
Yeah, Burrows was about the same. It was 45.50 or something.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I feel you, Rich. Zamir White. That's why they're going to be throwing the ball. There's not much run game there.
Okay, I already know who's Richie's getting in the draft. I need to make sure and get that guy.
Zamir White. You better put that on a sticky note, Ron.
Yay! There it is, pal. You said it. I put it.
Hey, we got some love for Carr, bro. So there might be a
There's some people buying the Raiders hype.
Your brother, Adam.
They're gonna have a funeral or a parade, boys, at the end of the year.
There's a lot of people buying that Raiders hype. We'll see. I want to believe it. But the Raiders have always been that franchise. It just, at least for our lifetime, could never really put it together. Other than those runs that they had, to the Super Bowl and then the Tuck Rule game.
Rich Gannon.
Not even their coaches.
Boys, Tim Brown.
Their coaches being all racist.
Is this why you're so high on Carr? Are you buying the connection, or are you just
I'm buying the connection, but I don't think it's overlooked because I think any time that they're on TV, they're shoving it down our throats like they're telling us about it.
Pause.
Yeah, pause. But they're always mentioning it. Oh, they were teammates in college. They were teammates in college. Okay, we get it. The fact is, they're gonna have all the levels, bro. Davante Adams is doing it all by himself over there with Aaron Rodgers. Here he's going to have Renfro, underneath. He's going to have Waller over the middle. And then there's Adams also. It's a lot to worry about, bro. It all comes down to Derek Carr.
They were roommates.
Pen pals, everything. MySpace top 5 friends, everything.
Hey, I do want to say, I did see some stuff dating back to at least 2020, late 2020, 2021 of Derek Carr talking about bringing Davante Adams over to Oakland then, or in Las Vegas now. So I got to give Derek Carr props for coming through on his promise. Let's see if they can put it together. So
who knew Derek Carr was going to be pulling free agents, bro? Huh?
A guy, and we can end it here shortly so we can get ready for our drafts. But a guy that's not on our list that was pretty high on I think on yours especially, Ben, not to call you out, but I think I had him on my list one of these past years. Kyler Murray. He just got paid. He's a guy that's usually top 10. He's certainly a top 5 quarterback fantasy wise when you're just looking at his ADP and people, their expectations for him. Do you see him entering back into this list, or are you out on Kyler Murray, or is he not on your list just because he hasn't shown what it is?
Kyler Murray had the hype. Obviously, he doesn't have all the body and the town. I'm saying a lot of suspect shit, man. Bob. he doesn't have the prototypical frame like Herbert does. But if Herbert don't watch out, he's going to find himself getting talked about like Kyler Murray is in 2 years, bro. So I think that's where I'm at with Herbert. I think that Kyler, so much hype on him. there was a lot of hype on him. Shit, they even went and got him Hopkins. Now look at where he is. He's kind of like, laughing stock of the league, the little guy in all the memes. But no, I think that Herbert could find himself there, though, Roland. It doesn't work out.
What about you, Ron?
I'm not very, fantasy-wise, he's maybe somebody you'd want to get. But as far as being the top 10 quarterback in the league, I can see some comparison to maybe a guy like Jalen Hurts, dare I say, who has potential there, but there's just a few things missing. And not that Kyler can't throw or can't run, but he's just it's just that je ne sais quoi, it's just something about the guy. He doesn't like to practice. All that stuff came out about that stipulation in his contract. So is he a leader on the team? When you think of top 10 quarterbacks, you're like, who do I want to lead my team? Who's going to go out there, and not just ball out, but who's going to convert the first downs? Who's going to, 2-minute drill? Who's going to, who's not going to throw the late game pick? And all those things are things that Kyler Murray, does a little bit more often than all these other quarterbacks on the top 10 list. So he's sus, as like the kids like to say. He's sus, and that's why he's not on my top 10.
Hey, those OU number 1 pick QBs, man, don't take them. Baker and Kyler.
Jason White, you remember him?
Jason White, oh boy, Sam Bradford.
Damn, man, Turisa throwing me under the bus, bro. Yeah, I got 40 minutes.
Hey, he's gonna be panic picking, Alan. It's just
I'll say hilarious. I'll give Kyler Murray one more chance, to jump back into the top 10.
What a nice guy.
You're so forgiving, pal.
Because, I can see him jumping above Dak if Dak doesn't have a good year this year. I can see him jumping over a guy like Matthew Stafford if his injuries hamper him all year. I mean, I can see it, and Jalen Hurts is another guy that might make this list, but I'm higher on Kyler than Jalen Hurts.
Hey, can we close with this question? Percentage or true or false? Will Trey Lance be on this list next year?
False. He's gonna have a Jalen Hurts type of year.
Nah, bro, I'm out just because he didn't last year in preseason.
Yeah, I know who Ben's targeting in fantasy now.
Hey, he might be number 10 on my list next year. That might be. I'm on this Carr hill and I'm seeing a bigger hill that way, pal.
The grass ain't greener on the other side, dog. Stay with Derek Carr.
I like Trey Lance.
Hey, shit, man, but this was perfect. The best thing is that we didn't have Justin on. So we got through it quick. Everything was great.
Guy, dude, don't say that, man.
Nah, Justin. Hey, the 4 horsemen, Justin, we love you. We missed you. You haven't been on the pod. If you want to do MMA, basketball, soccer, hockey, golf, look, I say, bro, we need you back. Let's go.
Yeah, hey, and Mark, the draft that we're doing, it's for another league that we have, but for the fantasy football draft for the podcast, I know that I asked for emails. I got some emails. I'm gonna send out invites. Alan, if you want in on this fantasy football league, little jersey giveaway at the end. Anybody in the comment section that wants in, hit me up with your email, and I'm gonna send out invites, and we'll be drafting in about a week and a half.
Yeah. 10 or 12 men? 12, right?
It'll be a 10. Well, 10. We're gonna get enough for 10. We have about 7 people right now, so
okay, that works.
Trevor Lawrence over Trey Lance.
I think it's a show me year for Trevor Lawrence. He struggled his rookie year. He had that Urban Meyer experience, so he's going to get a pass from most people. Mm-hmm. But new slate, he's got a winner as a coach in Doug Peterson. I think that's the guy who took over. So let's see what you can do, Trevor Lawrence. I'm very interested in that situation.
Yeah. I like it, man. Great job, boys.
Yeah.
Let's get into the war room.
Thank you to everybody that was in the comments all night. We talking about sports. If you guys are watching us on Facebook, please like and follow, share the video if you can. Much appreciated. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we got all of our socials listed at the bottom. We're going to do divisional breakdown next week, probably, maybe another position breakdown. And after that, the regular season's here, guys. We're closing in. We're getting ready for that Bills Mafia versus the Rams game 1 opening night. Bills are now 2.5-point favorites, so just something to look forward to. All right, talk to you guys later.
Yeah,
peace.